So close! Aye! Alright, what we have here is our H bracing for our fencing. Alright, it's time for us to get started doing some work to the fence. And this is where we're going to start. So, our H bracing right here, we'll show you how we did it. You can see we've already set our post, and I have installed the top bracing post. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're actually going to install the wire that goes diagonal from it to help tighten everything together. Okay, so the purpose of the H bracing is so that you can pull your fence, your heavier fence, from a post without pulling that post or it warping. It just gives you a lot sturdier starting point. So let's get started putting that wire on. Me and Mom Pops are home. Alright, so before I tighten it too far, I lost the hammer. There it is. I'm gonna nail this nail all the way back in, obviously. I'm gonna do it on the same side. Now, little trick I was shown was if you put a nail at the bottom right here, yes, I know I screwed it up. But if you put a nail at the bottom of this one, it'll keep it from poking down. It'll keep it from pulling down, because a lot of issues people come across whenever they're doing this is when they're tightening them, or they come back and tighten them. That nail, because it's like this, will actually start to pull out. So if you put a nail underneath it horizontally, it helps prevent it from pulling down. And of course, from the one pulling up, you want to put that horizontal nail on the top side so it doesn't pull up. So based on which way your wire is going, your horizontal nail is going to be on the bottom since it's going down, horizontal nail is going to be on the top since it's going up. Now that we've got it situated, I mean, it really wasn't that difficult. Probably the most difficult parts would be digging the hole and then kind of getting that top cross beam put in. But what I did there is I pre-drilled my holes in this post and then the starting fence post as well, and then I just drove a piece of rebar through it. It's not too difficult, it's just finding your hole when you're driving the rebar in. But now I'm going to explain to you like what the benefits of essentially what an H brace does for you. Okay, now an H brace, I don't know like the full background of it, but I know that it gives you a good sturdy starting point. Well, I've already discussed that. By basically you're tying the two posts together with that middle brace and then your wire. And what that's doing is I'm going to be pulling mainly from that first post this way. And if I just pull that heavy duty fence, it's going to pull the post with it. A lot of people do just take the post and put a little angle post into the ground, but that ground's it's still allowed to move. It happened to me a couple times when I did this main back fence when we first put all this fencing in. I didn't know anything really about H bracing, so I'll show you. This is what I did. You see how it's just one post and then comes down, and I did put a T-post at the end because it started sliding, but it's essentially how I did, you know, all the posts. So with your H bracing, you're going to pull from this one this way, okay? Well, what that does is as you're pulling, it puts pressure on this crossbar on this post. Well, if you didn't have this diagonal wire or another diagonal post, all of it's going to move. It's going to flex. So what this does, this ties it into the bottom. So as this goes this way, it puts pressure on the bottom. So essentially creates a block right here that is super sturdy. All right, so what did I use for the wire? I used 12 gauge fencing wire, okay, along with the tensioner. Now, some people don't use a tensioner. Some people will actually run two strands. They'll take their wire and run it twice around it, and then they'll twist it. You can see that on a lot of older fences too. They'll twist it. They'll put like a bar in the middle of it and twist it, and tighten it up, and then it rests on there. Sometimes they'll do an X with their wire. It'll go this way, and it'll come, you know, across that way. And then what they do, they twist it, and it rests on the other piece. But I had a friend of mine who does a lot of fencing, and he gave me a bunch of tensioners and stuff. So I used the tensioner and the tensioner bar. This basically just helps you to tighten it. You can do it with a pair of pliers, but this just helps because it's the exact size. It's a little bit longer too, and it lets you get a lot tighter pull on it. Other than that, it's just posts. So very simple, very easy, and it's gonna be a great brace and starting point for us to start doing fencing. So this is just the first one. Later on, I'll keep going. I'll set some more posts the further we go down the fence line. Because on this side, I'm not going that far. I won't do an H brace in the middle, but along the back end, I'll probably end up doing an H brace in the middle. That way it's tight, because it's, like I said, it's a heavier duty fence than this original like welded wire for 2x4 things. So you got to do it. It's gonna take a lot more pressure to get it tight. Puts a lot more pressure on it. You want a good sturdy fence, especially for the animals. So I hope that helps you. It's definitely helping me. I appreciate you, and we'll catch you next one.